As Melinda Gates once said, and I quote, investing in women means investing in people who invest in everyone else.
Extending our warmest greetings to the people tuning in, we are so excited to introduce you all to our guest for the day, Miss Seema Sinha. Seema ma'am found her true calling in creating a meaningful impact in the society and giving back to the community by becoming a driving coach for women. All in all, she is the driving coach who not only trains women how to drive, but also helps them in overcoming their fear and anxiety behind the wheel. It is heartwarming to know that she has successfully trained of women of all ages and even those women with disabilities. She is currently the Delhi NCR face for Taxi Break Free and the only woman coach. This initiative of theirs won an award from the World Bank in 2019, and this year they won another award from the United Nations Development Program. Ma'am, would you like to tell our listeners a little something about yourself that we may have missed out on during the introduction, like your love for Kathak?
Yeah, thank you. Thank you so much, Arna. Thank you so much, Zitin, for having me here. First of all, let me just congratulate both of you that you are a brilliant bunch of young girls who are doing something so meaningful. I mean, you're responsible young girls because if I were to look back, when I was your age, I was this very, very misguided youth, just having fun, a rebel without a cause. So when I see you young girls being so responsible and so, um, what should I say, so aware and looking to make a change in the society, bringing out these stories. So I must congratulate you and huge round of applause for both of you. Really
Thank
appreciate
you.
it.
Thank
Yeah,
you.
so my name is Seema Sinha. I was born and brought up in Lucknow. I went to Loreto Convent and then did my master's in economics from Lucknow. And I am also a Kathak graduate, which I completed my graduation after I turned 40. That was 46 when I completed my graduation in Kathak. Um, and I am also a certified professional in multimedia and animation. Yeah. For the initial years in my mid 20s, I was a part of corporate giants like Seagram. And corporate dream was one dream that I nurtured from ever since. I mean, ever since I was your age. And I worked with them for a couple of years, but then took a backseat after my children were born. And then I was a stay at home for 2 decades. I did not look outside. I did not do anything. It was just raising my girls. That's it. I'm a mother of three beautiful girls. And yeah, that's all that I did. And then 2018, I decided to get back to the corporate world and did manage to find assignments with Google and Amazon. I worked with them for a bit, but then I did not feel what I was looking for. There was some kind of joy and contentment that I was looking for, which was completely lacking in the corporate world. And that's when I stumbled upon the driving that I do. I'm a full-time coach, driving coach right now for women. And driving was always my passion, and it was a skill that I took pride in because I am way better than most men out there in maneuvering traffic, in commanding the roads, owning the routes. And if I may say so, I mean, humility aside. So I didn't know that an opportunity, that I would get an opportunity which would enable me to use this skill. But it was given to me on a platter, literally, and I just grabbed it greedily. And here I am. I am the only woman driving coach in Delhi NCR, training women and liberating them. Yes.
It's lovely to know how you've challenged the stereotype that only men can be driving coaches and how you've taken this up. And it's something that you enjoy doing on a daily basis. So I think
Yes.
that's wonderful.
Uh,
So you mentioned that you were previously employed in the corporate sector before you decided to be a full-time driving coach. How
yeah.
has the transition process been, and how did the people around you receive the news when you told them that this is what you wanted to take up now?
Okay. Yes, that's correct. I did work in the corporate sector for a number of years before deciding to become a full-time coach, driving coach. The transition process was definitely a big change because I was used to a very different kind of environment, work environment. And but at the same time, I found it very stifling also. because being confined to a room for 9 to 10 hours, being glued to the screen, I had probably, come out of that phase. And I was, like I said, I started this only recently, and I'm
Mm.
in my late 40s. I'm 49 years old. So it didn't come easy to me. And I was very, when I was, this prospect of helping women, like I said, when I came across this opportunity, I knew that this is something that I found, and this is going to be very, very fulfilling. So that's how I took it up. And anything associated with driving would just excite me. And that's how I just made a plunge. This was a huge leap of faith that I took, and I'm glad that I did. So the transition has not been very difficult. It's been joyful. I am very happy with this transition. Um, yes, it's a lot of hard work, much more harder than probably in a corporate world where you're sitting in an AC environment, and you have all those luxuries around. But with me, I'm like on the roads, literally there in the elements, so not easy. And when you say that, how was it accepted, and how did people around me receive the news? uh, of course, when I first shared the news, they were a little apprehensive. This was something that was unheard of. They were very concerned about my own safety, because of the way I teach. I do not have controls. I teach on the client's car, so it's a very different method of teaching. So they had their own reservations, only when it came to safety. But then, overall, with time, when they understood that how passionate I was about this venture, that's when, they were like very supportive and encouraging. And over time, when they began to see the impact that my driving lessons were having, sorry, on women I was working with, they knew that I had made the right decision. And yeah, support just came pouring in.
This is a very unconventional story, and I'm so proud that we got the chance to interview you
Thank you
today.
so much.
And
Thank you.
I'm so happy for all those women who took this decision for themselves and started
Yeah,
taking classes from you.
thank you.
So, talking about this whole idea and this whole organization, would you like to tell our listeners a little more about Taxi and how you became associated with this venture?
Okay, so Taxi is all about women enabling women drivers. Yeah, we do not have women coaches in the country. Okay, so this was born out of the incident that happened in Delhi, the Nirbhaya incident, and also the incident that followed Nirbhaya, where this girl was raped in an Uber. She is a rape survivor, and she made a statement in the media saying that, had I been, if it was a woman driving me, this wouldn't have happened. That's where Taxi was born. And we realized the importance of women driving themselves, and also training women to drive other women. So that's how it was born. And how I came associated with Taxi was that it was a women's support group that I follow, and they were providing women with employment opportunities. And this came from Taxi, and what they wanted was a woman who had, this passion about driving and had at least 10 years of driving experience. So I just picked up the phone, called them, and the rest, as they say, is history. They are also into, they are targeting also child abuse in a way that, there are so many schools that are looking for women drivers, because we have these incidents of child abuse in buses where male conductors and drivers, every week we get to read the news about child abuse. So obviously, if there is a female driving these children to schools or to their extra classes, there are so many working parents who want their children to be driven by women to all these classes. So we are working there also. And these women drivers are more like alternate mothers to these children. So yes, that. And of course, the Me Too also. And encouraging women to travel in their own safe spaces. Yeah.
More
I
power.
feel like that's a amazing point that you've made, that it would have been so much safer for all of us to go out if there is a woman driving us. I feel like a lot of us are apprehensive to take cabs, especially during the night time, only
Yeah.
because a man is supposed to drive us and make sure that we
Yeah.
reach home. So that is an apprehension all of us have, and our parents too. And it's a
Even with
concern
flights
that
landing, even with flights landing at odd hours, That's when, if a woman, she's
Yeah.
landing at 3 a.m. in the morning, she comes to know that a woman is coming to pick her up. She's like thrilled. She said, wow, I mean, they are just so excited about it. They feel so reassured and they feel so safe.
And
It's
also
very,
the
very reassuring. Yeah.
think about our comfort in dressing up, wearing
Yes,
whatever.
in dressing up, yes. We have to go to these parties. We want to wear the dress we want, but ultimately we end up putting a jacket
Yeah,
on our spaghettis or on our dresses, and then only to take them off when when we reach
the
the
destination.
venue. But these little inconveniences, they are very irritating, and all of us women and young girls, we relate to it so much. If there is a male driver, we have to be very particular about the way we are dressing, about how we are sitting, or if there is a friend, what we are even talking about. If there is a woman driving, we wouldn't even have to worry about that and just be ourselves. Yeah,
That is very true. Like knowing how to drive is certainly an essential skill nowadays that I feel like anyone, irrespective of their gender, should have, especially women. It is a liberating feeling to know that they can
yes,
fend for themselves. They don't have to depend on somebody to take them places.
correct.
And
Huge. Yeah.
so, how can we associate this life skill with an increased sense of independence for women, like we've spoken about?
Okay. Um, so learning to drive can definitely help women feel more independent in a number of ways. Okay. For one thing, it can give them greater mobility and flexibility in their daily lives. Yeah, allowing them to travel to work, school, social events, wherever more easily, and on in their their own pace and their own schedules. And this can particularly be important for women who live in areas where there are limited public transportation options, right, for them. So, and also for women who have other responsibilities that make it difficult for them to rely on others for transportation. So that is one. So these are the practical benefits that come with the skill. There can also be it is empowering in an emotional sense too. How? Because it can help them feel more in control of their lives, yeah, and more confident in their abilities to navigate the world around them. Correct. Now, this can be particularly important in cultures where women may be discouraged from pursuing activities that are seen as traditionally masculine, right? And such as driving, which is what we're talking about today, right? So I believe that learning to drive can be an important step towards greater independence and empowerment. And I'm always thrilled to see this positive impact if I can have on the women I work with.
Awesome.
So practical and emotional both,
Yeah.
both the benefits. Yeah.
And now that nowadays we are placing the due emphasis on mental health awareness, I feel that
Yeah.
this has some relevance in that aspect as well.
Of course, yes. It's a
Uh,
very good point that you've made.
so, moving ahead, talking on the aspect of mental health only, how did you yourself observe a positive change in your life and your mindset by uplifting and encouraging other women?
So, helping other women learn to drive has definitely had a positive impact on my own life and mindset. For one thing, it has given me a sense of purpose and fulfillment that I didn't always feel in my previous job. Like I said, I was in the corporate sector, and in the corporate sector, you work only for yourself. While in what I do, I am, basically giving back to society. There is this feeling that comes with this job, right? And I love knowing that I'm helping other women gain a valuable life skill that can make a real difference in their lives. Yeah. In addition to the sense of purpose, working with other women has also helped me see the world in a different way. I've had the opportunity to meet women from a wide range of backgrounds, and I have learned so much from their experiences. It's been inspiring to see how resilient and determined these women are, despite the challenges they may have faced in their lives. Yes, so it has been a very, very enriching experience. Overall, I feel that working as a driving coach has helped me become a more compassionate, empathetic, and an understanding person. Yeah, it's taught me to see the world through other people's eyes and to appreciate the unique challenges and strengths that each person brings to the table. Yeah, I am grateful for the opportunity to work with other women and to be a part of their journey towards greater independence and empowerment.
That's
Have I been
wonderful.
able to answer that?
Yeah. Okay, so talking about your daily routine, would you like to share some positive and negative sides to being a driving coach?
So my daily routine consists of 12 hours of non-stop work. That is being on the roads with my clients. And my daily routine is it begins as early as 6 in the morning and ends about 7 in the evening. Yeah. Now the positive and negative impact, it's by and large only positive. There's hardly any negative impact with the kind of job that I do. Positive in the sense that I just answered your previous question, saying how it has changed my perspective in life, how empathetic and understanding I am towards other women now. Knowing their stories and their resilience, and every woman has a story. And now that I'm privy to those stories, I feel very lucky because there's a huge amount of learning that comes from them. So, by and large, only positive. Negative would be that I get very, very exhausted at the end of the day because it is a lot of blood and sweat. I'm continuously talking for about 7 hours straight. And I'm out there in the heat, in the cold, doing my job. So that's probably the only negative aspect. Lot of hard work. But then, as they say, if you enjoy what you're doing, it ceases to be work.
Definitely. And your story kind of inspires us as well, like as young individuals, to go after something which brings fulfillment to us. So
Yes.
you were definitely happy in your corporate life as well, but this is something which brought fulfillment to your life. So
Oh,
thank you
absolutely.
for inspiring us, ma'am.
Thank you.
Moving on to our next
Glad I
question.
do. Yeah.
We all have heard people casually associating hasty driving with female drivers. So, how
Hmm.
does it feel to challenge this stereotype by being the first woman driving coach in the NCR, despite driving being a male dominated industry?
Okay, so Arnab, as the first woman driving coach in the NCR, I am proud to challenge stereotypes about female drivers and show that women can be just as skilled, responsible, and safe behind the wheels as men. It's true that driving has historically been seen as a male-dominated industry, but I believe that more and more women are beginning to realize the importance of this life skill and taking steps to learn how to drive. Of course, there are still those who hold outdated views about women and driving and who make assumptions or stereotypes about female drivers. But I believe that the best way to challenge these views is to continue doing what I am doing. Yeah. Provide high quality driving lessons to women of all ages and backgrounds. And demonstrating through my own actions that women can be just as competent and capable as men when it comes to driving. Though I don't, every time I'm repeating that, like men, they can be responsible and safe. But let me tell you the observation that I have made on the streets and about so many people that I know. Men, 50% of men are horrible, horrible, horrible drivers. They are so scared behind the wheel. They cannot make judgments on the road. And there are times when there's this space, there's constricted space, and this particular male driver wants to maneuver his car through that space, and they are not able to make the judgment. They are just sitting there and waiting, unable to decide. There have been so many moments when I have gotten out of the car and told them, because I am like standing, I am waiting behind them. I have gotten out of my car and actually told them to step out of their car so that I can make them see that this space is sufficient and their car, can make through that space, you know and they are so scared also behind the wheel the way they drive. So I would I so so every time I say they can be as confident and as safe as men, I want to challenge that at the same time, because it applies only to 50% of men on the roads, and that is a very, very close observation that I have made. Yeah. So but then uh, ultimately, my goal is to empower as many women as possible to learn to drive and feel confident and capable behind the wheel. And if in the process I can help challenge outdated stereotypes and attitudes about women and driving, then I consider that a bonus.
That's
I feel like that's quite a win.
Yes. I wish I could just
Um,
state the number of times that I've gotten out of my car and helped men with parking.
Ma'am,
And
I would like to
honestly,
know their reaction to you taking the step and asking them, let me help
oh,
you.
some of them get very offended.
Yeah.
Obviously, they are not very kind to me when I say that to them. Some of them have been like, been very giving me, those sarcastic looks. Oh, so you are the one who's going to do it. I said, yes, let me show it to you. Please get out. Please get down from your car, and I will do it for you. And I have done that. But then, yes, they've never been thankful. They've never had, okay, so big deal. I mean, you did it. These are the reactions that I get from them mostly, barring one or two out of 10, 8 out of 10 would get offended. Two out of them would praise me and say that, you know, uh, we are impressed and yes, you're better.
I feel like this
And
kind of
we could
a
have never imagined a woman doing this.
yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like this comes from a feeling of entitlement, knowing that
Oh, yes.
how can a woman
Yeah.
challenge
In all
me? That's
aspects of
something,
life,
yeah,
actually. We are
that's true.
discussing driving here. Driving, it is big time. Big time.
So, as you said, you've trained women from different backgrounds and like women from various age groups. So we love how you promote inclusivity also by empowering specially able women. So
Yeah.
how is training women with disabilities? Is the experience any different with them? Do you face any challenges there? How is the process like?
So, Zitan, I'm glad you asked that question. See, working with women who have disabilities, this has been the most rewarding experience for me as a driving coach. Yeah. I believe that everyone deserves the opportunity to learn to drive, regardless of their physical or cognitive abilities. And since I'm passionate about helping these women gain independence and mobility that driving can provide, so of course, training women with disabilities can be a bit different from working with other students. Depending on the individual's specific needs, I may need to modify my teaching approach, which I have already done. For example, I trained a woman with hearing impairment. Now she wears a device so that she is able to make
Mm.
sense of the sounds, and that so that she's able to communicate. Now, the problem with her was, imagine her fear of being behind the wheels, because all the cacophony, the sound, and everything on the roads used to disturb her a lot, and she could never muster courage to learn driving. And though she felt the need, and it was, she was. Uh, she had been looking for a coach who could help her, and it had been at almost 5 to 6 years that she was on the lookout, but she could
Mm.
find none. So, and I'm glad that my path, crossed with her. And how I modified, I did not Google, I did not study. There was no study material that I, tried to do that homework before taking her classes. I just relied on my own understanding and my own empathy levels with, with women who have disabilities. So these changes and these modifications were done there and then. I understood her limitations, worked accordingly. For example, if she found difficulty in making sense of the sounds, I taught her to feel the vibrations that come through, while you were training. So she was trained on a manual car. So I taught her to make sense of the vibrations that come through. There are certain vibrations you feel in the thigh when the car is in a particular gear. So teaching her all of that, also training her to ignore the sounds that were disturbing her, like for example, the honking. It used to literally echo in her head, and she used to get so unsettled that we had to actually park on the side of the car, and she had to settle. Those sounds had to settle in her head before she could go ahead. So all of these things, training her mind and helping her through the sense of vibrations is how I helped her. So yes, an inclusive coach is the need of the hour, and I'm so happy that I am one. And there was this other woman also who had a problem. She had a problem with her neck. She couldn't move her neck the way we do, not as freely as we can, because she has a problem with her spine. She was born with um, uh, that problem. So yes, helping her with the rear view mirrors and training her again with a very different approach. And today she is driving, I mean, happily and confidently. So, uh, but despite these differences, I find that working with women with disabilities is not fundamentally different from working with other students. Yeah, at the end of the day, my goal is always the same: to help the student learn the skills they need to become safe, confident, and independent. Yeah, and seeing the joy and satisfaction on the faces of these women as they learn to drive and gain greater independence is one of the most rewarding aspects of my job. Is the most rewarding aspect of my job, actually, not one of. Yeah.
Mm.
Um, this is truly out of the world. Like you teaching your this student how to feel certain vibrations that come along with changing the
Yes.
gears. This is
Yeah.
something we don't hear on an everyday basis. So
Yeah.
I am literally spellbound by hearing the depths and the efforts you go for
Yeah.
teaching your students.
Thank you so
That
much.
requires a lot of patience. I mean, hats off to
Oh,
you.
yes, yes, you have to be very patient with them. And because, when you say that, there was a little incident that I would like to relate here. That while I was training her, there was this 1 minute thing where my pitch, of the way I was talking, the pitch was higher. Yes, and I did not realize that she may have, that she may have a problem with that kind of high pitch.
Mm.
So just a few seconds into my training, she just told me that, can I take a break of 5 minutes? So I said, yes, of course. Why not? And I asked her the reason. She said that I just want you to be a little softer because it kind of echoes in my head, and then there is a point when I can't hear anything beyond a point because there is a frequency, there is some management in her, in her, the device that she used to wear, that the frequency, it matches the frequency, of the surrounding sounds and everything. So that was only one incident, and it taught me so much. Like those few seconds, I just kept quiet, I understood. And that was the first and the last. And then I knew that the pitch that I was supposed to use and be very patient with her. And we had a great time, both of us. We laughed so much. Probably my only client with whom I have giggled and laughed so much. So yeah,
That's lovely.
patience. Yes, my job requires me to be very, very patient.
Mm.
Another aspect I would like to talk about is the concept of women supporting women. So,
Yes.
overall, how can we build more safer spaces for women in our society by training females how to drive?
Um, Training women how to drive can play an important role in building safer spaces for women in society. Yeah. When women are able to drive themselves to work, to school, or anywhere, they have greater control over their own safety and can avoid situations that may be uncomfortable or dangerous. Yeah. In addition, women who know how to drive are more likely to feel confident and empowered in other aspect of their lives, in other aspects of their lives, yeah, which can also contribute to a safer and more supportive community. Yes. In terms of employment opportunities, there are definitely a number of driving related occupations that can be both rewarding and lucrative for women. Yeah, delivery services, chauffeur services, and ride sharing services. Yeah, these are all examples of industries where women can find productive and fulfilling work, while also helping to fill a critical need in the community. Yeah. To ensure that women are able to take advantages of these opportunities, it's important that we as a community work to eliminate barriers to entry and provide support and training where needed. Yeah. So this might include programs to help women obtain the necessary licenses, and certificates and the certifications, mentoring and networking opportunities to connect women with potential
Mhm.
employers, and ongoing support to help women succeed and grow in these industries. And overall, I believe that empowering women to learn to drive and pursue careers in driving related fields is not only good for individual women, but also for our society as a whole. By creating safer spaces for women and providing them with greater opportunities to succeed, we can all benefit and thrive together.
Yeah, I feel like it's just something that we as a community, we need to come together and make it a
Yes.
point to
Yes.
ensure that there are no barriers to
Oh,
these
yes.
opportunities that women should be
Yeah.
provided with. I mean, why shouldn't they get the same amount of opportunities in whatever field they may choose as men? So I feel like it is the
Yeah.
responsibility of us as a community to ensure that women find productive employment in all
Yes.
related occupations.
So, ending on an optimistic note, what is something that you would like to tell our listeners?
Okay, for those who are willing to listen to me, that is. So, yeah, to all the listeners out there, I want to say this that you're capable of achieving anything you set your mind to, right? Now, all this may sound very cliched, but trust me, it means a hell lot. Yeah. So, no matter what challenges you may face, and no matter what obstacles may stand in your way, you have the strength and resilience to overcome them and achieve your goals. Yeah. Whether it is learning to drive, pursuing a new career, or simply taking steps to improve your own well being, I encourage you to take that first step, and believe in yourself and surround yourself with positive influences. Seek out mentors and role models who inspire you and never give up on your dreams. Yeah. Remember that we are all in this together. No matter our backgrounds, our experiences, or our struggles, we all have the capacity to lift each other up and support each other in our journeys. So don't be afraid to ask for help when you need it, and always be willing to lend a hand to others who may be struggling. Yeah. At the end of the day, I believe that when we work together and support each other, we can accomplish truly amazing things. Do you agree?
Yes,
Absolutely,
So
definitely.
Ram. I think you
let's
just
go out there and make a positive difference in the world, one step at a time. Yeah.
thank you so much, ma'am. Thank you for your time. More power to
You're
you. I
welcome,
mean,
Zitin.
we're both like we're very grateful for this opportunity to interview you. It was amazing speaking to you. This has undoubtedly been an enlightening and empowering conversation. And I hope that a multitude of women out there hear what you're saying today and decide to take this crucial step towards becoming independent by learning how to drive confidently and to
Yes.
ensure that they can be better in all aspects of life without any hesitation. Team
Yeah.
Girl Up Shisha sincerely thanks you for taking out the time to speak to us. We're very grateful for
Thank
the
you, Zitin.
opportunity.
Thank you, Arna.
Thank you
Thank you
Thank you
so
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 much,
much.
ma'am.